Ben,
David, how are you?
good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, man.
Welcome to People Legal again, another year.
Another year. Yeah, it's all good. Very good, man. Very good. Yeah, we have actually. Yeah, we launched our MCP service last week, just in time for the show. And we were just featured in a large piece on AI governance and, and the future, if you will. So yes, it's been really good. Really good couple of weeks for us.
So what does that actually mean for the folks walking around the show here?
So we're not an AI native business. We're a deterministic workflow. That's our history is sort of compliance, deterministic workflow structures. And you know, AI first tools like 𝗁𝗁 and all those things are great. But actually there is a world where you need both, and you need both to interact with each other. You need both to interoperate, but you also then need to be able to track and audit the work that flows through the systems. Now we do that natively with our platform where we do integrations with systems of record, but actually the AI piece is the piece that's really interesting now, because, you know, you're trusting those systems to provide you with the right outputs at the right outcomes, but actually understanding who asked what it did, what model it used, how it used it, and what the outcome was. That stuff that those platforms do to some degree, but actually understanding that in the larger context of the work that's being asked of the firm is really important. That's where we're sort of stepping in, and sort of our compliance background and our understanding of what it takes to manage that kind of data and that kind of information is where we're sort of sitting pretty and doing really well.
So what's a hard example of all that? I guess what sort of things you're seeing out in the marketplace in terms of hard examples?
So you can imagine a world where you're in 𝗁𝗁 or in Claude or in ChatGPT to help you do a discrete task.
Yep.
That discrete, it might be to extract some data from a contract. It might be to do something else, but understanding what you've asked it, so the prompt, and then the skill that you might have used, the model that you might have used, in the context of the broader piece of work, because that activity, that individual going and doing that is part of a matter or part of a project or part of a thing, and understanding what they've done as part of that project or that matter, that workflow, is really important in the broader context. And that's what we're bringing to the fore. So we'll understand sort of everything from intake to that specific task, and we will then capture that data and record it as part of a broader set. So, you know, where you're doing highly regulated work and structure, or you're working for a particular customer that only allows you to use a particular model or a particular vendor, that's the kind of world that we're sort of operating in.
So in a HR context, I mean, I'm interested in how that would sort of apply. So I mean, I've got big interest in HR and what they do, and actually the whole process of people and how they move through organizations. I mean, how would that people processes side of things actually map out?
So, I mean, from a context, it's really thinking about how those systems come together, and then having a central store of that data and understanding sort of the ebbs and flows of people, their journeys, the training that's required, all of that sort of stuff. And we can record that data. So you can define a process, employee onboarding, all the way through to induction, all that structure. We can do that, but actually it's tied into an understanding of, okay, what are the tools that they're using to deliver a particular task, process, person.
That's actually really interesting. So basically, anything that's impacting a business from point of view of external parties that are actually dealing with that firm, and you work with corporate and legal as well, yeah?
Yeah, we work for both. We've got law firm customers and corporate customers, so we understand both sides of the requirements and what people are looking for, and restrictions and limitations that they have, and understanding. And it's what's really interesting at the moment is, you know, corporates are in a world whereby they're buying the same tech as the law firms. They're deploying it slightly differently, but they're buying the same tech. So understanding where the handoffs are and who does what is really, really interesting.
What I really like about your business is there's not a hard sales sort of situation happening. Like you guys are actually really, really coming from that strong consulting background. So you sit there and you do deep discovery, you understand what people are doing, and you'll essentially then deliver the solution that's just right.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. So, you know, we're not a hard sell kind of business because it's very consultative, because, you know, process orchestration, that kind of governance, people know they need it, but it's hard yards. They don't like doing process. More and more now, people are identifying sort of that workflow orchestration, understanding, okay, because they want to use AI to do it. What they're finding is they can't use AI for everything. And so, you know, they might have 𝗁𝗁 or Claude or whatever, but actually some of the things that you just need the business to do, you need to know that it's the same every single time, and it's not going to make some stuff up. So, you know, it's very consultative. Don't call our customers. We partner with people. We're sort of, we have that kind of relationship where, you know, it's a quite white glove kind of experience. And, that's how we operate and that's what we like doing.
Well, it's actually interesting because what you said before about being, like workflows that are very sensitive and actually got particular restrictions around them, that makes a lot of sense in working with software like that.
Yeah, because everyone's getting to this point whereby they need to be able to understand how these systems are operating and working. And it isn't just adoption, it's understanding how you operationalize AI in the context of a function, whether it be a practice area or finance or whatever it might be. And there's always going to be systems of record. There's always going to be systems that need to be connected together through an integration layer like ours, but actually the flow of work and that governance that sits behind it. And it's almost like a spine. The governance layer isn't a bolt-on. It's part of doing work inside of Autologyx.
So what sort of folks that are walking around this show are best having a conversation with? Like what are they looking for? Who are they and that sort of stuff?
I'll chat to anyone. No, I think so. We're talking a lot at the moment on the law firm side of things. We're talking a lot of innovation people. We're talking to a lot of KM.
Yep.
When you start moving away from the practice of law, we're talking to sort of leaders in like CIOs and understanding sort of the challenges and what they're being asked to do by their internal teams to operationalize the AI and adoption. On the corporate side, it's legal ops. It's people that are sort of knee deep in work and understanding how they can operationalize the work that they've got to make their service to their end business users much more efficient and effective. I think, the world that we sit in is we're not a point solution, we're a platform. So, there is that consultative sale. So oftentimes it isn't a thing that people have a known thing, but they don't come to us for that. They come to us for the gnarly, complex data structures, workflow, handoffs, integration. So it's real gnarly work. And that's what people come to us.
It feels like you would make AI work better.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think AI is great and it's changing the world and it's doing some amazing things, but you still need to understand, particularly in legal, you need to understand what it's doing and you need to deploy it right. And I think the key where we sort of sit is that you've got the old school deterministic in combination with the brand new probabilistic. And at certain points, you've got an end-to-end process and it might be 20 steps long.
Yep.
And you might use AI at step 3, step 7, step 9, and step 15.
Yep.
Everything else is a human in the loop, or it's an integration with another system of record, or it's interaction with something else. And I think it's tying those things together to understand, okay, what does this matter look like? What does this workflow look like? And it isn't sort of individual slices. And I think the modality of the tools, the AI tools that are out there at the moment, it's about making an individual lawyer smarter and a little bit quicker. But actually, the compound effect of that is that you're still just making individuals smarter. You're not changing how that business is operating or that function is operating. And that's starting to come through now. But the foundation of that's got to be governance and understanding. And I think that's where people are coming to us now. There isn't, 12 months ago, we were sat here everyone's talking about workflow. 6 months ago, everyone's talking about orchestration. Now people are starting to talk about governance.
Yep.
The next 12 months is going to be governance, I think. And it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out because everyone's going to start leaning against it. But I don't think, you've got these AI islands, if you will, different systems doing different things. And actually the CIO in a business needs to take a step back and understand what's happening across everything. I'll be floating around. We've got a team of 5 of us. So I think we're on booth K14, but if we're not, then don't talk to people at K14. I don't know where we are. It's somewhere around there near the good coffee. That's where we are.
Well, see Ben for a good coffee and a good chat. So brilliant. Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Cheers, David. Good to see you.